Hey everyone, welcome back to Teenager Therapy. I'm Gael.
I'm Thomas.
I'm Kayla.
And welcome back. Tomorrow is Thanksgiving for us, but it actually already passed for you guys. So I hope you had a really nice Thanksgiving. I hope it was enjoyable. I hope you spent it with family. I feel like for me it isn't a big holiday, so it's like
Really? I feel like it's like the biggest holiday for my family.
What?
So interesting.
Biggest?
Yeah.
Not even Christmas?
Yeah.
Wow.
Like so far, like we have celebrated Thanksgiving.
This is what happens when a minority buys a house. Republicans, Americans, patriotic.
What?
Sorry.
That's so funny.
What was I even gonna say? It's like the only holiday that we've like stuck with. Like, and there's like a tradition. Everyone always goes. Whereas like Christmas, there's like years where we don't do anything and years where we do. But Thanksgiving, we always do
Interesting.
something.
Wow.
Well, I hope you enjoy it because it is nice with the big family because it's always like a bunch of food and everyone's eating and everyone's, having a good time. For me,
Yeah.
it's never really been like that. It's always like, a small little dish and stuff, which I appreciate too because I feel like when the holidays happen, I get really stressed out about like not overeating. And I'm like, fuck, I don't want to like eat too much. And then I know there's going to be leftovers the next day and the leftovers aren't always the healthiest. I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do? And so that's why like it's just odd, and with Christmas coming up it does cause a lot of stress, which like raises the question like should there be this much stress over eating and like overeating, undereating, like eating healthy? Like, do you guys think about that?
Thomas, go first.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I do. I think we've talked about like a little bit about food before. And I did say that I had like not an eating disorder, but I did have a lot of like conflicts with food and like how much I was eating, what food to eat. I just always felt like no matter what, like I felt guilty whenever I ate. And I know like I shouldn't, but I just do. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember I had a breakdown in like a grocery store. I talked
Oh,
about
Really?
it. Yeah.
Wait,
It
I
was
don't
when we were
remember.
on the road trip, no?
Yeah. You were there.
Was I?
You were there,
Yes.
yeah.
I somewhat remember. Why were you crying?
I was just like not I had like a very low self-esteem and like something just like was triggering it, and I was just like surrounded by so much food and I don't
Wait,
know, it just kind
okay,
of like yeah.
it was just overwhelming.
It was overwhelming, but I mean, I've never nothing like that has happened since then. Now it's just like, oh, I shouldn't eat that because of this.
Okay,
I don't know. I watch what I eat, but I also try not to, and I feel like I've done a good job of like trying not to like care too much about it.
that's so interesting because I remember you. I do now. I remember you
Mhm.
talking about it, but at the time when we were talking about it on the podcast, I remember not quite understanding like what that must feel like because I was like, I can't ever imagine like being at a grocery store and feeling like so overwhelmed, overstimulated because of food that I like break down and cry because of my relationship to it. And I never really understood that until like, but now that you bring it up again, I'm like, wait, I get it now because something similar happened to me, but not with food, but it was at the gym, which is
Mhm.
like interesting how it's like opposite but the same. And I talked about this. It's like I was at the gym and I just like felt so bad about my body. I hated it. And then being at the gym and not being able to motivate myself to do the exercises made me feel even worse. I just like wanted to cry and be like, I like hate everything about this. But with food, it's never happened. I feel like my relationship has always been kind of like relatively, I think it's healthy, honestly. Like I know it seems because okay, like people are like, what is the difference between an eating disorder and like a controlled strict diet? So I think I just have like a controlled diet. I don't think I've ever even gotten close to an eating disorder.
Yeah, I don't think I've gotten close to an either, but I do often think about like when do I eat just like whatever I want, and like when do I restrict myself from that? If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
You know? Whether it's like, I don't know, like a sweet or something, whatever it is, I'm just like, do I eat it just because I want to, or should I just like stop myself because I know that like
I don't need it.
I don't need it, and like I shouldn't.
Yeah.
And it's like oftentimes like I have those little like talks with myself in my head when I'm going like grocery shopping. And it can be overwhelming sometimes because I'm just like, oh, I don't know what the fuck I want. And like I just get one thing and then I leave, you know?
Really?
Yeah. But I think for the most part, I eat what I want, but also not like so carefree, you know? Like I know my limits. So it's like I'll indulge every once in a while, but like for the most part, I eat like not super healthy, just like regular
Yeah.
food,
you,
I guess.
You eat for comfort sometimes.
Yeah.
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 Really? Like comfort eating?
Not like often. Maybe like when I'm like close to my period, yeah. Yeah, but like besides that, it's
I don't know. Sometimes I get that same stress that there's so many options as to like what I want to eat, but it's like I know that's not good for me. And at the end of the day, it's like, okay, yeah, it just comes down to like balancing it. And like for the most part, I feel like you have it balanced now. Or do you think you go out of control?
no, I don't think I go out of control. I think I have it pretty balanced for the most part. But then sometimes I do feel bad where it's like I have this craving, but I'm like, no, you shouldn't eat that.
Why do you feel bad?
Because it's like not healthy for you or whatever, like donuts or something. Like, you know, it's not like, yeah. It's just like a sweet that I know. I'm like, no, I shouldn't do that. And also, it doesn't help too that like growing up, I was considered to be like, not like, I'm not even skinny like per se, but like from my family, like my mom would tell me like, oh, like estás flaca, like you're so skinny, like you should eat more. I was regular weight, honestly, like doctors too, but like my siblings, they were more on like the heavier side. And so then like I would hear like my mom telling them like, oh, you need to eat less, like, you know, watch what you're eating, you need to like start walking and all this stuff. So it's like hearing like her criticisms to them also makes me feel like, well, if I ever get, you know, like to how they were, then it's like I'm gonna be hearing the same things. Or it's like I'm just gonna have like that transformation, you know? It's like she's no longer the skinny one.
Yeah,
know?
but that's also like interesting is what is it ever right, like even as a family member or a really, really close friend or like in a relationship, is it ever right to, you know, tell someone like, hey, like you should watch what you're eating. You should like
No.
I feel like that's just
You should
so out
walk.
of place.
It's never your place to do that.
because like let's say you see like I'm like dating you, right? Let's say we're dating Kayla.
Mhm.
Or we're just like family friends, whatever. Just we're really close. And I see you just like start eating like pure junk food. Like you have just given up on like like you're literally only eating junk food, fast food, soda, donuts, cake. Like you don't give a fuck. Like you're like, I don't want to eat. You know, you're just not doing it.
Mhm.
Is it like in that plate in that case, do you think it's right to be like, hey, like maybe you should try like eating a little healthier? Like what's going on?
I think
like what's
a
happening?
lot of the times like the person on the receiving end is aware of what they're doing, and like somebody pointing it out just doesn't necessarily make the situation better. I can see like what you mean of like it's coming from a considerate and like caring place, but I feel like 99% of the times it just doesn't come out that way.
Because I think if you do mention it, it should be more of like a being considerate about it.
Yeah.
You know, kind of like, hey, like, are you okay? Because obviously, if that's unusual behavior, then there's probably a deeper reasoning behind it. So not necessarily pointing out the food. For me, I have had a weird relationship with food because I think when I was younger, I would just binge eat whatever, like eat way past me being full and just unproportionate amounts of food that like I really didn't need. And it would be odd because I think I would just do that because I just didn't have any adult supervision. So I was like, I want to, so why not? And I would just had those urges. I mean, as a kid, it's natural. And then over time, I started becoming more aware of my weight, and I was like, maybe I shouldn't eat what I want. And, you know, sophomore year, I started going to the gym, and I, you know, started getting more into fitness and tried like very unhealthy diets. But I think what helped me not. Well, okay, honestly, okay, I'm curious to see how like it looks like from your point of view, because obviously everyone that's like a bunch of gym bros, or like if you go on TikTok, it's like, oh, you have an eating disorder. No, I don't. It's just a diet. And I agree with like the gym bros for a lot of times. Like I think many of them could have one, but for the most part, when you are like on a diet, you're controlling what you eat. And for me, I there was a point, as you guys saw me live through, where I would just like count every calorie and make sure I had to eat enough, eat more, eat less. But I was doing that because I had a goal that I needed to reach, and so I want to reach that goal. And now I've like for the last 2 months I've been on a weight loss diet as well. So I've been tracking my calories again and basically just eating the same foods again and again. And when I do go out, I make sure to not eat too much and such. So to me, like, that seems normal. Like, I don't know why it's such a controversial issue on TikTok of like, if you're tracking your calories, that means you have an eating disorder or you have an unhealthy relationship with food. I don't think it's like that. I think it's like, if you obsess over it, that you have like a very negative reaction when you do go over it, okay, yeah, that's not healthy. But if you're patient with yourself, you're like, oh, I went over today, it's okay, the next you just restart. I don't see the issue.
I feel like I can't say much because I really don't know. It's because I do agree that like a lot of people do set strict diets for themselves, and I don't think that's a problem. I do think that a lot of gym people do develop eating disorders over time just because like they just care so much about like every single calorie, and I feel like that's when it becomes a problem, is when like they have to like count every single one, like they measure it out. They won't treat themselves to like dessert or something. I don't know, but it's like I've never seen anyone with like a strict diet, like, so I don't know if like I don't know, because I think
agree,
like yeah, right.
I feel like Gael is the only person that I've ever met that like does this. And like when I first learned that he did that, I was like, what? I was like, no way somebody actually does that. But it's like I don't have any other exposure to like other people that do that, so it's like it's not like I can say or like classify it as like eating disorder or like on the way to an eating disorder, you know?
Right. Yeah, of course.
I mean, I've always seen Gael do it, and I never had like an issue with it, nor did I think there was an issue. But
a lot of people do get
I don't
concerned.
know.
They're like, oh my God, like,
I mean, I can see why.
Yeah.
yeah. And I'm just like, guys, like, no, it's fine. I can eat. It just, I gotta like not
Because I think
overeat.
you control it in a healthy way.
And you're trying to reach like a goal.
It's not just like a forever obsession.
Yeah.
Yeah. This like it does get
Because I feel like I've been on the other end of like counting like my calories, but I didn't have a goal, and I was just doing it to like not eat.
oh yeah.
So like I feel like that would be different, but like you are eating enough calories, and I feel like as long as you're eating enough while like on a strict diet, then you're fine.
What do you mean you were doing it just to count calories? Like you wanted to make sure you went under? Or you just wanted to like feel like you had control over like
I just wanted to feel like I had control over it, and if like a number was too big, I would not eat it.
And how did you decide if it was too big? It just looked like intimidating or what?
Yeah, if it just looked intimidating, I don't know. I mean, I'm not like that anymore, but there was a phase where like I always had to make sure to like see how many calories I was eating, and I wasn't like tracking it, but like throughout the day I'd be like, okay, well, I did that and this, so I won't do this.
How'd you get over it though? Was it just like over time you just forgot about it?
Just like healthier mindset. This was during like a really hard time in my life where a lot of things just like weren't right. So I like started seeing a therapist and everything, and then things got better from there. But
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, right now, like, I'm definitely in a weird situationship because I think for me it's not about food, it's about my body. Um, because I know for some people, actually, I remember talking to an expert when we did an episode on eating disorders, and he said like a lot of them don't have to do with like the food itself; it has to do with something else. And I don't remember specifically, but I think it might have been body. But in my case, yeah, like I like these past 2 months, like I said, I've been trying to lose weight, so I have to like eat a certain amount of calories. Um, and there definitely have been moments where what happens is I get frustrated that like either I'm not seeing progress fast enough or I'm like eating too much or too little, and I do get stressed out sometimes when I can't track what I eat and I'm like, "Oh my god, did I go over? Did I not go over?" Like I remember um when I went on a trip and I ate a ton and I was like, "Oh my god, I hope I didn't go over by too much because then it's going to restart progress." And that does get in my head. So there is that. Like I do deal with that like with that pressure of, "Oh my god, maybe I overate." And then like the next day I do get the urge to not want to eat. And I'm like, "Well, to make up for it, I just eat even less." But then I have to be like, "No, I can't do that because that's not healthy and I should just get back on track, the same thing, and forget about it, because if not, I will just want to eat less and less in like desperation to make up for the quote unquote mistake." Um, so that's been kind of tough, but
Yeah, I mean, I do that too, but like, I don't know if it's a problem.
yeah, yeah.
I mean, doesn't it like cancel out? Like if you eat a lot one day, then like
No, you shouldn't do that because you basically would be starving yourself for a day, and it's like you don't need to do that. That's like
true.
unhealthy.
Yeah.
It's like the actual, 1 day of overeating really wouldn't like affect you much in the long term. So it's not healthy to develop the habit of like, "Oh, I gotta punish myself," because that's when you start seeing food as punishment. And if like you indulge, it's like, "I gotta punish myself," when you really don't.
Okay.
Why?
What?
Okay. Yeah.
Why do you punish yourself?
Yeah, I guess so. Like I don't think I like realized it, but it's just like, yeah. But like not in a, I don't know. I don't know how to justify it.
Okay.
I feel
No,
like
you
I,
do.
You don't
I
have
feel
to
like I feel
justify
like it's
it.
just wrong, and I'm just like, it's just a bad habit that I like still haven't like gone over.
No,
so,
I get you,
yeah.
because I still feel the urge to be like, I want to starve myself. Like I get so mad, I want to just starve myself, not eat the whole day. But it takes a lot of energy to be like, no, just forget about it, because it is kind of tough. Do you have that problem? Do you ever do you think when you overeat, like, do you think about calories at all?
I definitely do. I think more of just like, oh, I'm gaining so much weight right now, you know. But I don't think of it as like, oh, the next day I'm gonna eat less, or do I? I don't know. But I recently actually, I have been thinking more about like, I feel like I've been gaining weight, and I like purposefully haven't weighed myself yet because I feel like if my suspicions are correct, then I'm gonna be like, I need a change right now. You know, it's like I need to like eat like 2 meals a day, like 1.5 meals a day, or like I need to throw away like my gummies, like my shark gummies, you know, like I need to throw away like this and this. But I just feel like I have
Like you have what?
gained weight.
What's your relationship with your body like?
I feel like
Do you hate yourself? Yes or no?
I don't hate myself,
Good.
but I'm also like not in love with like what I'm seeing. It's more just like feel neutral most days.
Really?
You know.
That's good.
And obviously like I'll have my days where I'm like, oh, I look really good, but for the most part it's just like neutral.
Do you like get urges to like, oh, I want to lose weight, I want to look this certain
Of
way?
course.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
I
how
mean,
how like
how
invasive
strong-
is it? Yeah, how strong is it?
I think for the most part it's like not super invasive to the point where I'm like, I need to go to the gym like 4 times a day. You know, it's more just like, damn, I really wish I was more like toned or whatever. But is that enough for me to like set a consistent schedule? No.
No. Shark gummy as a treat.
Yes.
Yes.
That's nice.
I thought about it. Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Like I have been thinking about this more recently. Like literally today even, where it's like I just feel like I've gained weight. But I don't know if that's true or not. It's just like I just feel like I have, like whether it's in my face or my stomach, I just feel like
And what if it's like, what if you do weigh yourself and you find out it's true?
then I'll feel like bad about myself.
Mm.
You know?
Yeah, I mean that literally happened to me like a few weeks ago. Where
Yeah.
like I didn't know I was gaining weight until like I saw it. I was like, oh,
Yeah. And
I
then
didn't even realize.
also like I'll look at pictures from like I don't know, like senior year high school and I'm like, wow, my face was like really skinny. And then I look at it now and I'm like, it's not as skinny. But also I'm like, is that me just maturing?
Yeah,
Like-
right. Like you.
I
not
compare
being a
like
16-year-old.
dude,
Yeah.
my problem is I compare myself to like my 10-year-old self. I'm like, wow, like 10-year-old me was so skinny. Like how can I get there again? It's,
No, because I
That's
think
so
about that. I'm
funny.
like, wow, I was so skinny when I was 8. Like I want to get back there. I'm like,
Yeah.
what the fuck am I doing?
you see,
Yeah.
like this is like problematic behavior, and I feel like the problem is that like I see everybody else have like these same like thoughts or like patterns, and I'm just like, oh, like it's fine. But like, does
It's
everybody
not
have like
fine.
an underlying disorder?
Oh,
You know? Because I feel like that is the case. Is that like a lot of things about like eating disorders is that it's so normalized, and like
well, I don't know what
certain-
makes an eating
certain-
disorder.
I think if like it really affects you, like if you have
If
a
it's-
really unhealthy relationship with food, and I feel like the thing and another hard thing is that like maybe I did have an eating disorder, but I don't want to say I did because then I feel like I was like dramatic or something. You know what I mean?
I get you.
Yeah.
I completely get you.
But like I probably did, but I don't want to be the one to say it. You know what I mean?
Because then it's like, oh, it's real. Like,
Yeah.
I actually had one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's just the hard part when we do talk about eating disorders. Is that like I don't know what's right and what's wrong, and I because this person had the same
Yeah.
thought too, and I don't know.
Interesting. Yeah, well, I don't. The thing is, I think for me personally, my relationship with food can be stressful because I think it's like always on my mind, and I'm always, whether I am purposely trying to gain weight or not, food is something that is on my mind. I am thinking about what I'm eating, what I shouldn't eat. It's never just eating what I want. It's always like, ooh, but how much protein does this have? Oh, but what have I ate already, right? And I see people that don't do that. They're just like, oh, I'll just eat this. They truly just don't, like, their relationship with food is very like in the background. Like they don't think about it. They
That's
go
just
on
hard
and
to
they eat.
believe.
Yeah, like they're like, oh, I'm gonna get a bagel. Okay. Oh, I'm gonna get this. Oh, I'm gonna like just get this off the menu. They don't look at the calories. They don't even think about it, and they're just fine eating. And I want to get there. I think. I don't know. It's.
I like forget that like things like that is not normal, but like
I mean,
It's-
it shouldn't be.
yeah.
Shouldn't be accepted. Yeah, and now like. I mean, this is. Yeah, like I was just looking like a couple days ago. I was looking back at an old video of me 2 months ago, like before I started my little diet, and I looked so much chubbier, and I was like, oh my god, that is crazy. And like, it's funny because if I hadn't had those videos, I would have looked like I would have felt the same. Like you don't see a lot of progress, which is weird because it's just trippy. I don't know what I look like. I don't know how different I look. I always feel fat, and I'm like, what the fuck? Like, when am I ever gonna feel like normal? It's so bad, and it's a little scary. It's like I can't. I don't know. I really like.
I really felt that because
Yeah.
like this year, especially like semester, like school wise, I have felt like fat, and I know I'm not like I'm at like the perfect weight for like my like height and
Yeah.
everything. It's like I just feel so heavy all the time, and I shouldn't because I'm normal.
Yeah.
You know what I
feel
mean? It's
that
like
way.
I'm doing fine.
I feel the exact way. And also too, like, you don't realize how you look. Like how you're saying, Kyle. It's like you don't realize how you look until a few months later, and then like you look at pictures of yourself and you're like, I didn't know that that's how I looked like. So it's like now at this moment, I'm like, should I be worried about how I'm looking?
That's the worst.
And so that's another concern with this. Like, I feel like I've gained some weight. So it's like a few months later, am I going to see that?
And be like, damn.
It was a reality? Or like.
That is so bad you mentioned that, because I thought you were going to say like, sometimes I look at old pictures, I'm like, I looked so good. So maybe I should believe that now. But you were like, and I look so bad.
No,
so
that
I get
too.
But I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
That point first of like, yeah, like
I was walking around like that and I didn't know.
Oh my, that's so scary. That is so scary to me.
Yeah.
And it just, the thing that sucks about like, obviously like skinny privilege and all that is that people do treat you differently. And I can't help but think that, I think a lot of times I attribute the way people treat me, interact with me, talk to me as a direct correlation between my body weight.
Oh my God.
I mean, I think that's true.
And it is true to a very,
I feel like
sad
people
extent.
don't like me because like I'm not skinny.
You're not skinny enough.
Yeah.
America's fat phobic.
Yes. Yeah, like I'm like, and that's something that has really been stressing me out, and honestly has been like the main motivator for like me losing weight. Is just like I look at myself then and I'm like, I did not like how I looked, and I'm like, oh my God, like you said, I was walking around like that. Like who, like it just makes you like so paranoid. It's like, oh my God, like what the fuck?
Okay.
I don't know.
And here's something that I wonder is like, is this body dysmorphia or do I just look like that?
No,
you know what
exactly.
Oh my,
It's
there's
like,
like so many things that you can like diagnose it as that I'm just like, what do I do?
Like,
Yeah.
is that me or is it body dysmorphia? And I'm like, if that's
Damn.
me,
I didn't even think about
No, because people
how
are like,
it could be body dysmorphia, but yeah.
but how it couldn't be.
Because
like,
look,
are we just
the
being
three
realistic?
of us, we don't ever see changes. Like we're like, oh my God, I didn't even
Yeah.
realize like you were like that chubby at that time. So it's like all in our heads.
It's so
But
bad.
is it
It's so
But-
bad.
actually
no one's paying attention. No one is noticing.
No, but I like.
But
it's hard
to
to
me,
I
it's
think-
like the
I
most
think
important thing
in the
in the world.
moment we don't notice it in each other, but then like in the future we look at a picture and
We're like,
then we
damn.
can recognize
Yeah.
it, you know?
Yeah.
Which is
Like even in each other.
it's just scary to even think how other people recognized it in the moment that I might have just met you for the first time. You know, like what we don't recognize it. We don't recognize it because we're with each other all the time. But someone that hasn't seen us and like has never met us before, you know, what's that like?
No, like because I think about high school and I'm like, oh my God, I look so different, and everybody remembers me as that person, and it's like I don't look like that anymore.
I've been trying to be more mindful. I really have been trying to change that because like throughout this whole little like weight loss thing, I have started to like the way I look a lot more. Like I look at my progress pictures from 2 months ago and I'm like, and then look at them now and I'm like, damn, like I look a lot different. Like I lost a lot of body fat. I look a lot better, and I can acknowledge that. And so I've been trying to really like accept it that I do look better, because it's like if I don't acknowledge when I feel good and just always focus on how I could be better, it's going to keep me in the same loop. Because this has happened before where I look at old progress pictures and I'm like, whoa, like I looked really skinny in that picture. I looked really good in there. But I know in the moment I was just like, ugh, but I'm not skinny enough. I'm not muscular enough. So I've been trying to be like, okay, like the journey, my goal, I'm not there yet, but I already look significantly better than when I did. And so it's like keeping myself motivated by what's working and what is looking good instead of by focusing on what isn't. So I'm really trying, but it's scary because I'm like, it's just scary. I just feel fucking fat all the time. Like, what?
No, me too.
It's so bad.
It's become a real problem this
I
year.
think
like-
more recently I've been feeling it.
And it's so weird
Like,
because when everyone tells you like you look
I'll
skinny,
skip
you
class
look fine.
if I really do feel it like bad in the morning. I'm like, okay, I'm not going out like this. So yeah.
That's what's like trippy though, is that like I don't know who to believe, because I can't trust myself and I can't trust other people, because everyone's always going to tell you like you look fine, you look fine.
And it doesn't help when like every photo of you look different. Like
Yeah.
I
Oh
look
my
different
God.
in every photo.
I know.
In every mirror, it's like, who
Yeah.
am I?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh.
The mirrors.
Yeah, my mirror has done me dirty plenty times.
Yeah. This is like a whole.
Things to ponder about. And the thing is, like, everybody feels, or not everybody, but like, I know a
Majority.
lot of people who feel this way.
Yeah.
Yeah. Too
Is
many.
this normal behavior or is it a problem?
Maybe it's normalized behavior that shouldn't be.
I think
I
what
think so,
sucks is
too.
that like it doesn't matter how skinny we are, we're always gonna feel it. Like if you go talk to skinny people, they're like, I feel too skinny. I always feel really skinny, too skinny. And we're like, oh, I feel too fat. So it's like you kind of just have to be happy with who you are. But like I said, like it's just hard.
Yeah.
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 It's
Well, that's kind of it.
yeah.
I think.
Depressing.
I know. Like,
We don't have a lot of answers.
Friendsgiving after.
Yeah, Friendsgiving after.
No, we don't have answers for this.
Just sharing our experiences. And I'm sure a lot of you guys like feel this way too.
I'm really like, I think eventually I will, like, you know, something I would love to, you know, if this is even a possibility, if I do everything right, is my goal is to obviously just like get to the body that I want, that I want to have, which is obviously just like skinnier, muscular. And seeing the difference in how like you're treated on social media and in real life.
Okay, yeah. One thing that I feel like no one likes to talk about is that you do get treated differently.
So
if you
much.
do. Yeah, like
of course.
yeah.
So
and I feel
much.
like no one ever wants to talk about it, or they're like, no, they don't. But they do. Pretty privilege is a
Yeah.
thing.
I think
It's very much real.
even like
Yeah.
not pretty, but like fit privilege.
Yeah.
Like being like, you could be like, you know, not the most attractive person in the world, but if you have a fit body, that will get you way more compliments and like likes and DMs than someone that has a regular body and a really pretty face, which is depressing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Imagine being the person that has a pretty face and a pretty body. Like, I get so jealous. I genuinely get mad. Like, I get so mad, and I'm like, I want to
Oh my
be them
God.
so bad.
No, right? Because I'm like, damn, pick one.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's okay. It's okay, guys.
Yeah.
God.
I did not mean for this to happen.
Anyways,
It's okay.
no, this is the frustration, you know. But anyways, guys, I hope you all have a wonderful day. The most we can say is, I don't know, try your best to acknowledge that like you look better than before, whatever. Just talk nice to yourself.
Just take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Take care of yourself. Be nice to yourself.
In whatever ways you can.
Yeah.
Whatever that means to you, and just do
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. So remember, we have our little like Spotify live every Sunday at 6 p.m. PST. So I hope you can make it to that. And I'll ask a poll or a question if you're listening on Spotify on the app. I don't know what it's gonna be yet, but you know.
What are you thankful for?
Stop. That was last week actually. So thank you so much for listening, and we will see you in the next episode. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.